going on, everybody? I wanted to make a video today of something that I have not really found. I've seen plenty of Slingshots that have a doubled-in radio in them, and when I say Slingshot, I'm talking about a 2018 or 19, but none of them really go about showing how or what they did to get it in there, because there's not really a lot of stuff for the 18s yet. It's all for the older ones. I have the start button and the switches right here. So for Christmas, one of the things I got was the dash kit, and then I went ahead and bought a radio and the wire harness. So this is what you're gonna need. This is what your wire harness looks like. It's really wide. Sorry, the lighting's kind of weird here. I got this thing propped up trying to make it decent. It's so cold, my fluorescent lights barely even work. This is what it looks like. It's a 5-pin harness that's back here, and you got your constant, you got your switch 12 volts, and then you got your ground, and that's all you need to power the radio. Obviously, you just match the wires. This will come with your radio. It'll be a little bit different for each radio, but give you an idea. So basically, what you're gonna do, you need this dash kit. Not this specific one, but this is if you bought this dash kit. So my girlfriend got this for me on eBay. I'm having a brain fart on the brand here. I'll get back with you on that, but you see the radio sits a little bit back in there. It's got some, it's not perfect by any means. It's got a few like marks and stuff right here. And I think I'm gonna sand this down to, you actually get rid of this part so this doesn't show. So basically all you're gonna see now is this black plastic. I think I'm gonna sand that down and either paint it white to match this or like a glossy black to make it look like this. The white and black just looks good. This one slides down, kind of, it doesn't make it waterproof per se, but it protects it from, like if you get caught in some rain, it's not gonna harm it, it's gonna keep all that water out. But you see there's, some glue and stuff like that showing, so definitely gonna sand it down a little bit, make it look a little bit nicer and smoother. But this one comes with 4 switches. I'm also gonna get rid of these switches and get factory switches. I'm just gonna get blanks for now because I have no use for more switches. But if I need them, I'm gonna order ones that look like this, look like the factory ones, but obviously all black, just to make it match a little bit better. But this is what the kit looks like. So right here is where you're gonna mount your 2 screws to hold the radio in place. Another little issue to note here, there's a spacer in here, like you can see kind of like right, let's see if I can zoom in. Hold the radio still, obviously. Right there, there's this like plastic chunk. Of course, it's not gonna focus. But that basically keeps the radio centered because this is a little bit too wide, but that's like glued in there. I mean, I guess you could shave it down, but that wouldn't really make a difference because this would be too wide. But the issue is this little space right here is too long for the little mounting screws that come with the radio, because they're like, I don't know, maybe 5 millimeters, 4 millimeters or something. So I'm gonna have to find some screws that fit that. I thought about just shaving this down, getting my Dremel and just trimming this, but it would still be too far away with leaving any material there whatsoever. But on mine also, these are useless. The only screws that you mount this with are up here and down there. These actually kind of prevent me from going in with it, so I'm gonna show you what to do. You do need to trim with this kit, but with this kit, anything that you trim, you can go back to stock at any time. Like, you're not cutting any of this stuff. It drops in essentially. You're trimming stuff that's back here that's hidden by this little cubby. So what you do, you pop these up, and they're just like snapped in or whatever. So just put some pressure on them, get them up. It's easier if you're above them, kind of pulling up. Also, if it's not like 10 degrees outside. So that's all you do right there. You can take your windshield off and pop them all the way out. That might make it a little bit easier, but you don't need to. So right here, I already took these out so I could make this video. A really tiny little Allen head. You take that one out, you take that one out. It's these little screws right here. Once you do that, this black piece comes right off. Kind of like this tab like slides in there like this. So you can see what that looks like. This comes off and you will not reuse this. So you put that to the side. And then you see you got this whole cubby spot right here. This pulls out with a little bit of force. It kind of just snaps off, so just kind of pull all around it because it's got these little tabs right here. But that is that. You can see it's a lot smaller than it needs to be really, but to compare it to the dash kit here, we'll show you why you gotta trim. If you look at this, you see that area down there that overhangs, it hangs lower than this. So we'll put that down on the side. Let me get my light. And here we have it right here. This is all stock, I haven't done anything. That red wire's not stock, that's for some other lights I've got, but if you look right down here, you got your harness, so try to prop this light up. Now I don't, obviously as you saw, I don't have a factory radio. I don't have the ride command or anything like that. I do like it, but it was not worth like the $4,000 extra for it. It's not that cool. Plus I would have upgraded everything around it. So basically it would have been paying like another $4 or $5 grand just to have that screen. So you got two connectors down here. This one, I believe, is if you have the backup camera, which obviously if you don't have the radio, you don't have a backup camera. So this is pointless. This one right here is what your radio is going to plug into, which is this. I believe I paid like 15 bucks for this. I will link all this stuff in the description, so just a heads up. I'm having a brain fart right now with names because I'm so damn cold and I'm just trying to hurry up with this video. But all this stuff will be linked in the description. So obviously what you're gonna do is plug this into here after you have your wires connected, but just to show you how it works. It's a nice solid waterproof connection. There's a rubber grommet in there, but and then obviously you're gonna have your radio harness on this side. So it'll be give you kind of a general idea. It'll be something like this. One harness going into the other, and then that's going to go to your radio. And with these three wires, what's going to happen is that's your power, your switch, and your ground. So when you turn your key on, your radio is going to come on. Turn your key off, your radio is going to turn off. So it's going to be like a factory car stereo. You won't have to wire up any switches or add a switch to be able to turn it on or nothing like that. It's going to be just like the car you get into and drive to work. It's going to be the same thing. Turn the key on, the radio comes on. Turn the key off, radio goes off. But let's tuck this stuff out of the way now. Unplug that. All it is just a little notch you lift up right there. Put this back down. What you're going to be trimming is some of this stuff right here because your radio is going to be in the way. And I even have a slimmer one because mine doesn't do CDs or DVDs. But your average double din is going to be a little bit longer, and it's going to be, squared or rectangle all the way back. Like there's not going to be an overhang like that. Unfortunately, I can't get any angle to see it. I can't even see it with my naked eyes. But it doesn't fit. It hits that thing in the back. It's close. Some radios, if you get a really shadow radio, might actually even fit. Like certain ones that they call them mechless, which means mechanical-less, no mechanical stuff in it. Meaning the DVD slot, like, if the screen folds down, there's a DVD slot or whatever. They'll be even thinner than this one, so you might get it to fit, but if you're not so lucky, get a Dremel or a little, some kind of saw, even a soldering iron with a little skinny tip, and you just kind of melt the plastic away. This is about what it's going to look like. which doesn't look bad. This actually looks a lot better. Like pretty much, it doesn't quite match this texture and that, but it's close enough that it actually wouldn't bother me. I thought it would kind of bother me. I wasn't a fan of it, but it's actually not bad at all. I still think I'm gonna sand it down just for a more custom look and paint it smooth, you know, sand it smooth, primer it and paint it like a glossy black. But totally unnecessary. And these tabs back here, remember I showed you those second tabs? I spoke with the manufacturer. He told me that you don't need to trim those off for it to fit, but I really don't see a way to get it to fit unless you can get it on some kind of extreme angle that I'm just missing, like tilting it way back and then putting it in. But those can be trimmed off. They aren't needed in my application, at least. Make sure you don't need them in your application, which you shouldn't. Mine's a 2018 or 2019, but this kit fits 2018 and up, so it might fit older ones. Maybe you use them in the older ones, I'm not really sure. But obviously in my case, I don't need them. And then your kit comes with 4 screws, 4 black screws that go there, down there, and down there. And that keeps this kit in place. And once this is actually pushed back, because you can see it's not flush right now. Once this is pushed back, these snap down. It covers those top screws. It looks good. The only thing you really see is these 2 step bottom screws right there. And actually, if you want to get technical, you don't even have to put those in. I considered filling them with you know, like Bondo or something and sanding it smooth when I do that. And then just doing like some kind of like silicone or, you know, some kind of adhesive behind here just to mount the bottom. And then, you know, if I ever have to pull it out, I'll just pull that off and put another bead down there. But yeah, that's that. I just want to make this video because I don't see anything for the newer Slingshots. I've seen a couple of full custom things, but I don't have the means to make stuff like that. I know a lot of other people don't, so this is pretty much, I don't want to say a plug and play because you do got to shave a little bit, but probably as plug and play as it's going to get. If you put a singled in radio in here, you might not have to trim, but then you would have to make some kind of filler plate to get that gap, which is another thing about this radio. There is a gap down there. This radio came with a like a trim ring that goes around the radio, like a plastic piece, but it's too wide to fit this opening. I might trim it down because that's gonna fill most of this void, because that's might bug me a little bit. I'm not really sure. And you can still see the radio. That's another downfall of this kit. This plexiglass stuff does scratch. Unfortunately, mine came in the box like that, but it's not too bad. This is really dusty, by the way. That's why it looks like that. But with this closed, you can still see the radio, which is cool. So if it is raining, or you know, you just want to keep it closed or whatever, just for protection no matter what, you got it. This radio is sweet. This specific one, it's a dual. Never been a fan of these lower end radios, but this one is really nice for what it is. It's $200 brand new. I got this one on eBay open box for a little over $100. It's a XDCPA 9BT. In this whole series of radios, they've got this little remote that clips onto your steering wheel here. And then it's got a little sensor that plugs into the radio and you can mount it wherever. So obviously mine will mount somewhere way back here where you won't see it. And it, you know, picks up the sensor from this, but this is cool because you're driving, you can volume, mute it. If I hold the mute, it does the voice command for like Siri, or if you got Android Auto for whatever the Android one is, Google Assistant, I think. And then back and forward. And you can take this off and clip it wherever, but I figure that's probably the best spot. Drive up here and I can just move it down there real quick or whatever. But it's not about the radio. Subscribe and watch my other videos if you want more info about my specific install. But I wanted to make this video for basically this dash kit and just kind of show you what to expect, because this is pricey. I think it was about 220 bucks, give or take. But there you go. Just give you an idea. Again, it will sit flush. So don't look at this and be like, wow, that looks horrible. I gotta trim that out and then cut back there. So we'll pull it back out. Show you one more time. You're basically just gonna be trimming that area like this. They gave me a little piece of paper, which I will kind of use as a reference, but it just shows them trimming just basically like a square out of here, just because otherwise your radio is going to rest on this. One more thing while I got this out. If you can see that, that is your engine, all that stuff. There's your coolant. There's the engine. This gets hot in the summer. Well, actually, period. It gets hot any time of the year if you're driving. So I do not recommend just installing this, you know, cutting that, screwing this in and calling it a day. This is going to get very hot. These radios alone don't need any help getting hot. They already get very hot. A lot of them have a little fan on the back. That's not going to help this. In my personal opinion, it might be all right. You might get away with it, but this engine heat is insane, especially when it's 70, 80, 90 degrees outside and sunny. This is an oven. I am going to make some kind of, out of like a sound deadener material, or maybe even like some aluminum, just some kind of box to shield this and get the engine bay heat separate, because you don't want excess heat on these things. Like I said, you might get away with it. It might be all right. But me personally, I know heat damages electronics. That's like their #1 enemy. So I'm going to do just a little bit of stuff to try to insulate this. I'm sure I think there's actually a kit you can buy that like blocks this off from like Sling mods or something like that. So that's an option. Or just get like some sound deadener like I'm going to do. Just some kind of insulation to just block this off. I might even in the future, depending on the area, because see, you're gonna have to get down there too. That's your transmission right down there. If you can zoom in, that's the transmission right there. So that's gonna get hot. The engine's gonna get hot. So all this stuff really needs to be sealed off. It's not good for the electronics at all. So this is the glove box right here. I might try to make some kind of vent. Put like a little 12-volt computer fan in there just for some airflow. But that's totally up to you. Like I said, if you want to see what I do, definitely stay tuned. I just got this stuff in the mail today. I'm waiting on some more stuff. I can install the radio right now, but I need some more connectors. I need an antenna, because these, if you don't have the factory radio, you don't have a factory antenna. I believe the factory antenna is somewhere in the back. I'm not 100% sure, but I have no wire for it. So I ordered one. It's like a stick-on one. I'm just gonna route it up there and just have it sticking on the bottom of the windshield. It's like a little strip. It's not gonna be great, but I should be able to get local channels. I'm never gonna use it, but it would be nice, you know, if my phone's messed up, or if I'm, you know, just not connected to my phone for some reason, I'll still have FM. What else did I order? Oh, a backup camera. Because this thing sucks to back up with no camera. You can't see anything back there. So, got a backup camera coming. I got a FM antenna coming. And my RCAs are coming, because I'm not going to be powering my speakers with the radio. I've got the rear deck humps. I've got, I believe it's a 5¼ inch speaker, give or take. I'm not sure. And then right now I've got some 6x9s behind the seats. But I'm gonna get the front pods. But under my seat, which you will not be able to see, yeah, sorry guys, it's too hard to try to show down there, but under my seat I've got a 4-channel amp. So that powers everything. So I got to run a remote wire, which I have tapped into the glove box, switched 12-volt outlet anyway, so that wire's right there. And I think that's it for the stuff I ordered. But a couple days after you see this video, there'll be another video up of me installing it and the finished product. So can't wait. I'm really excited. It's a shame it's the middle of January now. Winter's finally hitting. I've been driving this thing throughout December even, and up here in Michigan, that's usually pretty cold, but we've had 40-degree days almost every week. So I'll take it out those days, but lately it's been single digits, so unfortunately this thing hasn't even been started in the last probably 3 weeks now. But yeah, like I said, subscribe, thumbs up if you want, I appreciate it. Comment, questions, I try to get to them. I'm not great at it, but if I see it, I'll try to reply. And hopefully this helps somebody out. Like I said, this is a 2019. You can always tell by the starter switch. 18 and 19, it's down here. And also the cluster switch is up here for the little display to cycle through. On the older ones, that switch is down here, and then all 4 of these and your starter switch is all right here. Those have a lot of different options to mount radios, but you got to cut this out. So going back to factory is pretty much a no-go unless you order this whole new piece. This one is a little bit more expensive, but even if you had the factory radio, when you cut this stuff out, that factory radio will drop right back in, screw right in. You would never know nothing was ever touched. So yeah, appreciate you watching. Hopefully this helps somebody. These just pop right up. See, they just got the tension clips in there. So if they're not coming up, don't be stupid like I did and use a tool. My tool slipped. I had a little rag on it, but the rag slipped and it caught this, nicked it up a little bit. Just pull up. It's easier if you're standing up out of this thing to just kind of like be standing over it and just pull up. It'll come up. Same with this one. And then when you're done, just push them right back down. They'll snap in. Good chance to paint them too if you ever want to like paint the dash or do anything like that. I would love to wrap it, but I don't think you can wrap over this texture. I don't think it would stick very good. So, thanks for watching. Okay, I want to make a quick follow-up video here right here. This is like 10 minutes after I just recorded my last one. Let's see. Here is a better video of the fitment. Now this part's a little bit tight. You can see why you got a trim back here. It's super close, see? Super close. Looks like it'll fit. I even for a second thought it fit. I was like, oh, cool. So I got these snap back down. There is a little lip right there. Some people might not like that. Not sure. It doesn't really bother me because this is how you sit. This is kind of like your view when sitting, so you don't really see it. But as soon as I sat down just now, I was like, whoa, wait, look at this gap. And then when you try to pull it down, you see it wants to come back out because it's hitting that. So what I did right now real quick, I just had my Dremel handy, so, and these are snapped back down, so pull it back out here. And this is not easy to get in and out, so if you're worried about somebody breaking in and stealing this thing, I think you, if somebody ever tries, don't think they're gonna get away with it. Sorry, I gotta put the camera down here and kind of pull this out. So what I did was I trimmed those little brackets that were up there off, and then I kind of angled it down. These right here came up to here, if you remember, and there was like another screw hole, which we do not need in this application at least. And this bar right here, it hits this, but you can finesse it enough to kind of get it down and over it. If you wanted, you could definitely just kind of cut that like halfway down. But yeah, no really need to. So now all I gotta do is cut some of this stuff out, trim that, and I'm gonna cut small and just kind of like expand it as I need it. So just a little follow-up video. Of course, I don't have the radio in here, but just to kind of show you again up here. Like I said, it definitely might benefit you to pop your windshield off and be able to pop these all the way off. Hopefully you can see that. But it will go in. It just won't look pretty right now because I gotta trim that stuff down there. But just want to give you another idea, kind of what it would look like once it's installed. But obviously it'll be sitting like that, a little bit closer. So again, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Thumbs up, subscribe, comment. All appreciate it. Thank you.